What's up, guys? Back at it here with another video, and today this is going to be another special video, a follow-up to my truth about Retro Rick and other resellers. This is going to be a little bit different video because in resellers' defense, it's not all their fault. Now, as you can see in the title of this video, the truth about Goodwill, I'm calling them out. Goodwill, Savers, Value Village, Salvation Army, all of these guys. And why am I calling them out? Well, because in the last 2 or 3 years, these companies have become greedy, money hungry, and they have really made it difficult for the person who wants to collect or is a hobbyist, or even if somebody's just looking to buy something inexpensive in their stores at a discount, they've made it harder for people to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to personally tell you about my opinion about all of these retailers, these secondhand stores, my experiences, what I've seen online, etc., etc. So we're going to have like a sit down, no rehearsal over this, but we're going to talk about all of it today. Now, firstly, the worst of the worst out of all of them is Goodwill. The two biggest ones are Goodwill and Savers, and I think by far Goodwill is the worst of the worst. They are the greediest. I call them Greedwill. And they by far are the worst. So, and when you come to think about, you think about thrift stores as being something, the word that comes to your head, a deal, a bargain, a treasure, a discount. Well, now it's looking like, especially with Goodwill, you're looking at auction house, eBay, retail, at or above retail for things. And Goodwill is by far the leader in this, and they're the worst. So a little bit about Goodwill. They are what's called a non-profit. And you may be thinking, they sell stuff, they make money. They have an auction site, they have all of this stuff. Why are they a non-profit? Well, what a non-profit is basically, it's a tax code. Basically what it is, any profits or money that they make just goes back into the business, and of course we all know where that goes. Administration costs, the CEO pay, all while the people on the bottom don't get anything, and then the things that they say they're doing, they're not really doing. But we'll cover all of that today. But that's what a non-profit is. So you may think, okay, they sell shit for money, they're not really a non-profit. What they do supposedly is they help people with disabilities find work. But I digress with that. We'll go into that a little bit here in the video. But honestly, within the last few years, it has gotten so bad at these thrift stores, and they have gotten so greedy. And it's very rare that you find anything at a good value anymore. And I want to make this clear. I'm a collector. I do not resell. And if I do, it's not about making profit. I don't really use eBay or anything, so I'll clarify that with you all. I am a collector, as you can see in the background here. But I've noticed it, and I've been collecting since 2015, and got serious with 2017, 2018, and that's when things really picked up. But now it's just like, it was like, boom, used to find stuff, and I'd come home from going out to like 10 or 15 Goodwills and my car would be full. I'm like, oh shit, I spent too much money. Now it's you can have all the money in the world, you can't find nothing at these places anymore. Well, why is that? Well, there's a bunch of components to it. The first thing is, and Goodwill has taken a lot of their merchandise and they put it online. They don't put it in their stores anymore. That's one big thing. So when I was doing this back in 2017, 2018, the stuff that I'd see, you see new in the box toys, jewelry, tablets, I've seen Pokemon cards, boxes for video games, Star Wars stuff, like a whole thing of Power Rangers toys new in the box. They were overpriced, but you saw them in the actual retail store. So one of the things, so Goodwill's made a lot of changes over the last few years, and this is how I'm telling you they're greedy. And for the record, I do live in Arizona, so it's Goodwills have different management throughout the country. So some of the things that I've noticed with Goodwill is, one thing is we used to have the toy bins. So they have the bins all throughout their stores, and you'd find stuff in there, and it'd be four for $1. Well, the pandemic hit, and they made a lot of these changes. Understandably, they were trying to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Well, COVID's not here anymore, and they're not bringing things back like they used to. But I don't think it was because of COVID. I think it's because it's greedy. Why am I going to give stuff away for $0.25 when I can do a grab bag of toys for like $5, right? And you see one action figure that you want in there. I'm like, oh shit, I got to buy the whole bag for $5 for one toy that might be worth $3. So they're getting greedy with that. So they got rid of the bins. Now they're doing just the bagged toys. And you're seeing prices go up. Like, on things like video games used to be, that's another example. So, and I actually have some examples that I'm going to show you guys of things. But like a lot of things, and then they'll say, oh, well, it's inflation. No, it's not inflation. The prices are doubling, tripling. They're going at or above retail. So like prices of things have gone up dramatically. So you'd see video games. You used to get games for like $2 to $3. $5 was on the high side. But now it's like, I'm at Goodwill, and I see a fucking NBA Live 2006 for the PS2 for $9.49. This was at the Goodwill down the street. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? So the prices have gone up. I mean, dramatically. And so and I'm going to give you some real examples. I have some physical items here that I've seen or have been posted publicly. But I've seen the prices of things go up. So they got rid of the bins. They're starting to increase prices of things. They used to have the jewelry cases out, right? They have, at each one of our Goodwills, they'd have the jewelry cases out. And like I said, I used to see all sorts of things in there. Handbags, collectibles. They took the jewelry cases out during COVID, and they never brought them back. So that's another thing. It's like, and then occasionally they have a little book with the pictures in it and some things out by the register. But they've pretty much done away with jewelry cases at Goodwill. They don't sell computers at Goodwill. That's another thing. They did get rid of fitting rooms, but that really doesn't have anything to do with the prices of anything. And then apparently at the bins, don't really do the bins, but the bins, we have one out here. If you know Tendo, he used to go to the one out here on 51st Avenue, I believe in Van Buren. It's out there, so he used to go out there. And from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing on YouTube, basically I don't know how, I'm not a bins guy. Watch Tendo, even though I don't like the guy. They roll out bins and you can dig through, and sometimes people find things there and you pay by the pound. Well, what Goodwill is doing now is they're going through the stuff themselves. Okay, we're going to sell big boxes of DVDs and big media lots that you have to pick up that they're going through. So they're doing that. And then on top of that, Goodwill used to have, they've also dollar tag days. So they still do 50% off tag days. They used to have dollar tag days. Now it's $2 tag. So they've doubled the price of their discount. They've cut the discount in half. So dollar tags are now $2 days on Thursday. And then the biggest one is they no longer do 50% off sales at Goodwill. The ones here in Arizona, they used to do every Saturday 50% off on all the merchandise except for like new and seasonal goods. They used to do 50% off, and that ended during the pandemic. However, their rival Savers continued to do 50% off sales. They did their sales on Monday. Goodwill did theirs on Saturday. So Savers, during the pandemic, continued to do 50% off sales even through the pandemic. But it would just be like you have to wait outside, and they let only a certain amount of people in, and it was a hassle. But they still did it. So you can't say it was because of COVID. They never brought it back. So they've really, you can see it's greed. They're trying to monopolize stuff. And then when they do get things in like toys or video games, what do they do with it? Well, what they're doing now is they're taking, so Goodwill in particular, I'm calling them out first, but Goodwill is taking all of their stuff and they're putting it on their auction site. ShopGoodwill.com, GoodwillFinds.com. So like, take this game. I actually found this at a thrift store, at Savers. This is a $100 game. Well, they're looking the shit up. They're going in the back. They'll scan it. Oh, look, a video game. And the manager will come over. They say, nope, we got to put this online. I think I paid like $3 or $4 for it. They're taking all of the stuff and they're putting it online on their auction site. So we'll get into that here. So they'll take this, they'll put it up on the auction site, and then it will sell for $100, right? So they're greedy. They're getting greedy. They're taking everything, and then it's like I've seen it. I've seen it personally. I have friends that have seen it, where they'll take everything online. There's a couple of Goodwills. One on Country Club Drive. I'd seen it firsthand. They were bringing out games and toys, and when they got the new management in, they said nope, and they actually shrunk the media section. They cut the media section in half and put paperback books on the other side of the shelf because they want to go through everything and put it on the website. So they're just, like I said, they're just doing that. So what happens when an item gets put on their website? Okay, well, that money doesn't support the local economy. Somebody in Texas will get it, or somebody in Jersey will get it, It's not going to somebody in Arizona. So, and I've experienced this too. There's things that I've tried to bid on Shop Goodwill, and there's no guarantee you're going to get it, So what happens is the item will get listed, they'll put it online, and then whoever has the bid wins. And you don't know who you're bidding against either. So everybody right? They put it online, they sell it, and you have to understand one thing, that Goodwill, unlike other businesses, like I said, they make the excuse, it's inflation, right? So I'll give you an example. This game right here, right? We'll use this as an example. One of our local stores here, Bookman's or Fallout Games, their physical retail, they would be in competition with Goodwill because they sell secondhand games and books, right? So they're technically a competitor. Well, the one difference between them is Fallout Games has to pay for this, right? I take this to Fallout, they're going to give me cash for it. They have to pay for their merchandise, right? And then they sell it for profit. So I'll sell this to Fallout, they might give me $20 for it. They'll go around and sell it for $100. Same thing with Bookman's. Well, I take this to Goodwill, they'll take it, they get it for free. You get a tax write-off, but for me, that doesn't, you get like something you can do, but they get the item for free, and then they have the audacity to take it and list it online for $100 when they're a thrift store. So that's, even though, they have all these same overhead costs just like everybody else, they sell it for retail. They have no cost of acquiring goods. It's all brought to them. Fallout has to pay. Bookman's has to pay. Even like places like GameStop, they have to pay for the products that are on their shelves. Goodwill doesn't have to do that. Plus, they get all the tax benefits of being a non-profit. So that's how bad it's gotten with them. They are by far the worst. And then so when this item goes online, you don't know. So resellers, right? Like guys like Phoenix Resale, like Caleb from Phoenix Resale, even he has to pay for his product and then he flips it for a profit. Goodwill doesn't have to do that. They're worse than him, because they get the shit for free and then they flip it. At least Caleb has to pay for it, so... Right, and I'll give you an example. Caleb will buy this game. Maybe he gets it for $3 or $4 at a Goodwill or a pawn shop, watches videos. He'll take it, he'll flip it on Amazon or eBay for $100. And eBay is a three-party system. You have the seller, which would be Caleb. You have eBay, who's the mediator. And you have the buyer, right? It's as simple as that. Well, with Shop Goodwill, you have the seller, which would be Goodwill, the mediator, which would be Goodwill, and the buyer, which would be, a guy like Caleb or me. Not Caleb because he's a reseller, but it would be a guy like Caleb, right? The problem is you don't know who you're bidding against online. You don't know. For all you know, it could be Goodwill. One of the managers there putting in a bid so that the other person bids it up. You don't know. There's no accountability for them with that. There's no accountability. You don't know, And then there's the reality, you may not get it. Somebody could bid snipe at the very last minute. And basically what a bid snipe is like literally within the last few seconds of the auction, somebody will go in and do a last minute bid even though you think you have the highest bid. So it's really not something I like. I don't like the auction site. There's no accountability. There's no accountability on Shop Goodwill. And it's like, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just, there's no, like I said, it's all Goodwill. You don't know who. With eBay, if you have a dispute or something, eBay's a third party. They don't stand to benefit anything. Goodwill, they could be up in the let's just say it's the Goodwill of Central and Northern Arizona that's selling this, and they want to get it up as high as possible. Well, eBay don't care. They just collect a fee for every item sold. So it's like there's no accountability because it's a two-party system. You have the buyer and then Goodwill is the mediator and the seller, so there's no mediator there, but they, it's gotten, I don't like it. And then they use only one shipper, which is FedEx, and FedEx is the most expensive. And on top of that, so like on eBay, right, then this is another thing. So we're talking about the auction site and everything. So on eBay, you, the seller will list the price of the item plus shipping. Sometimes there's free shipping. Well, Goodwill list, they'll auction this game off for $100. Then there's going to be a $3 handling fee plus the shipping from FedEx. So not only is there a shipping cost, you have to pay a handling fee for the person who packaged it. What bullshit. I mean, it's just how greedy Goodwill is. So that's their auction site. And so they're pretty bad. They are the worst. And we'll get in a little bit more detail. But you have other stores that are just as bad. Savers is just as bad. Now, the big difference between Savers and Goodwill is that Savers at least has a jewelry case. They still have all their collectibles out. They still have a jewelry case. However, they're looking shit up, just like Goodwill. Now, I'm not sure if they have an eBay page or not, but they do. But their pricing is higher than Goodwill. They priced a little bit higher. I was just at a Savers the other day. They had, I believe they were Warriors of Virtue action figures at the Savers at 35th Avenue in Bell. 2 action figures. Not even anything, desirable from the 90s. They wanted $10.49 for a bag of 2 action figures. It's just like, for something they got for free, and all benefit Savers is a for-profit business. But they're a thrift store too. They get shit for free. They don't have acquisition costs with product. They get it for free. They don't have to do any work. They get the stuff for free. So they're just as bad. Now, some of the other outlets like Deseret Industries, that's another one that has popped up within the last few years. Now, their prices are fairly reasonable, but you never see any product out anymore. They're a little bit lower. But, on the other hand, Savers and Deseret Industries, they don't have a return policy either. It's like, so you return it, you buy it, it's yours. So it's like Goodwill, you have 7 days, but you don't get the cash back. Or how you get it back in the way you paid. Well, no, not even that. It's store credit. Correct myself. Store credit. 7 days. So, but, yeah, the smaller guys, even they're starting to get out of hand. I was at the Boys and Girls Club thrift store off of Scottsdale Road just past Oak, and they wanted $7 for a little visor. It's ridiculous. Hat. It's ridiculous. It's like they're looking shit up. So it's like, it's just greed throughout all of these places. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about some of my personal experiences, some things that I've seen that are fucking outrageous with these guys. So the first thing I want to show you, and these are just examples, I don't have price tags or anything but what I've seen. So I was at the Savers maybe a couple months ago, and I saw comic books similar to this, individually bagged at Savers, and they wanted $19.99. This is not a 25-cent comic book here, folks. This is a $2.50 comic from 1992. It was they were all from the 90s. Like X-Men, things like that. The old Marvel comics from the 90s. They wanted $20 for a single comic. Are they out of their fucking minds? This was Savers. And like I said, Savers prices their shit higher than Goodwill. It's like, what are they doing back there? Are they smoking marijuana? That's another thing. They have these overs. Savers, like I said, they're out of control with their prices. Goodwill's high, but Savers is just, I don't know what they're doing back there. So the second thing I want to show you, this was truly crazy. Right? I'm going to show you this. This is exactly what I saw at that same Savers. You have a Sega Dreamcast, just like this one, with 2 controllers, even a clear blue, right? If I went to Zia, right? If I went to a retail outlet like Fallout or Zia, and they actually, not Fallout, Zia or Bookman's, that same unit would probably cost you $100 to $120, maybe $150 if it was in pristine condition. But that Dreamcast, I don't even think I'd have $50 into it. I bought it 2 years ago. The Dreamcast came with a game, the power adapter, and the AV cable. I paid $12 for the blue controller and probably another $7 or $8 for the white controller, so less than $50. And it had Sonic Adventure 2 in it. So I got all that for probably less than $40. You go to Bookman's or Fallout or Zia, they'll have the same unit for $100, and it comes with a power AV and a controller. $100, right? I saw this same exact unit at Savers at that 35th Avenue. They wanted $300 for it. Are they out of their fucking mind? $350. Nearly double what Fallout or what Bookman's was selling theirs for. And they did it for free. And that's not even what it would go for on eBay. Are they out of their fucking minds? That's just how bad it is. I want to show you the worst thing. And I have to give credit because this was not something that I saw. But this takes the fucking cake. So, there's a reseller on YouTube. I believe his name is Thrifting Treasures. He was at a Savers and he saw a base set 2. If anybody's seen this, a base set Charmeleon Pokemon card by itself for $600. What the hell is going on with Savers? $600. What was this thing signed by Logan Paul? Was it gold plated? It's not even graded. I've got 5 or 6 of them. You couldn't even sell this for $60. Maybe $6.99, $6. But $600. What the hell is wrong with these thrift stores? It's just overzealous people in the back. It just, that's how out of hand it is. Oh, you have overzealous people in the back. They look at it. And it's a psychological thing, too. It's like they don't know anything. They don't have the education or the knowledge, but they'll look at it and say, oh, that's a Pokemon card. We need to put a high price on it. Oh, there's a laptop. We're going to put this. Oh, it's a Sega. We're going to put $300 on it. I mean, it's just crazy. They have no idea what they're doing. I mean, it's just gotten so out of hand. You're going to spend $300, even, you'd have to wait for it to go half off, and that'd still be above retail for that Sega Dreamcast. That Charmeleon card, oh, you're going to pay $300 on a 50% day. Or you can get 20% off or save $20. Because you can only say, I mean, it's just, it is out of control. And it's gotten so bad at this point, like, we'll go back to Goodwill. They're not putting stuff out on the floor anymore. They're training their employees to look for things. They're training them to look for, vinyl records, tablets and electronics and video games. They're training them. And so Goodwill even has their own YouTube channel. And they have the guy, oh, here's the Star Wars toys. We're going to lock these up and put them online. Or, oh, here's the Joy. And they talk about the Joy like they're fucking experts. And I even seen it. They've got their own Lego department. They've got their own vinyl record expert. I mean, it is getting... What are they, an auction house now? They're a thrift store. They get their shit for free. And really, it's some, you question the legality of it. But they get their stuff for free. And they're making YouTube channels. And they're putting stuff online. And now it's like... They're not even putting the stuff online. And they're training their employees. And even in their physical stores, it's like when they do get something, right? About a week ago. Now I'm going to share some personal experiences that I had. My first one, I was like a couple weeks ago. I'm out at the Goodwill at Oak and Scottsdale. I see a GameCube game. It's a Pokemon one for the GameCube. It's like, oh shit, I got to get this for my collection. And I look at it. Pokemon Coliseum for the GameCube. They wanted $50 for it. I didn't even look at the disc. You don't know if the disc is scratched, if it has the manual or anything. And it was worth double that. But they get the game for free and they're listing it for $100, $50. They're listing it for $50. And they're training their employees, even at the register, and then they question you. Like, I'll give you an example here. Look at the laptop, the computer here. So, this little, this was a thing I got. This guy right here, this little Samsung TV, right? They don't, they used to sell, so that little Samsung TV, right? They used to sell TVs, CRTs, not anymore. I don't know why they don't, because people buy them for their gaming rooms and stuff. But the little CRT TV, they stopped carrying them when everybody went digital. But right before that end point where they said we're not selling, we don't take these anymore, they used to just offload them for $1. So this was about a couple years ago, and they gave me grief over it. They put a $1 sticker on it, right? There were two TVs. There was one like this, and then there was another TV that was kind of built in like a cabinet like this, and that one had a $5 sticker on it. But I could only get the little one, so I bring it up to the register, and the cashier questions. He says, "This isn't the right price here, sir." And I'm like, "Yeah, I said, I mean, they look at you like you're a fucking thief. And so I got the manager involved, and I told him, I said, look, this was on here. This is the price. If you don't do something, I'm going to complain to corporate. And they just said, okay, yeah, we'll give it to you for that price. But they wanted to fight me on it. And I said, the other one's priced probably at $5. I'll show you. And then, I mean, and it's like, so our tags, the ones that they put on the merchandise, are so abrasive, like if you even try to pull them off, they'll rip. So it's like, you would know if I had taken a tag off and did a switcheroo. But it was flat and everything, it looked like it had never been taken off. So it's ridiculous. That's one instance. And it's at that same Goodwill. When they used to have the bins, like I said, they're training their employees, to know what's valuable and what's not. So I was going through the bins, and there were like arms and legs for some Beast Wars figures. So I was like, okay, and I legitimately started, counting each one, and they were in the bins legitimately, counted each one, put them into a bag. I bring it up to the cashier. She gives me a dirty look and says, "Oh no, these are not supposed to be in this bag." I'm like, what the fuck? And so I get upset. I get the manager involved. They don't do shit, and I walk out without buying them. But they're training their employees to know what's valuable and what's not. And so so those were two instances at Goodwill. I deal with it at Savers as well. So another instance was, let me show you, this is not the VCR, but this is what the VCR looked like right here. Only it was black, same model. This was at a Savers, right? Saw a VCR, because I do, like I said, you can see I got old electronics back here. Got the VCR. It had a $4.99 price tag on it. Obviously, Savers doesn't do returns. It's as is. So I went to go plug it in, and there was a Pee Wee Herman tape that I was going to buy as well. Put the Pee Wee Herman tape in, and it didn't want to come out. So I'm still going to buy it because I know I can fix it, but it's not a working unit. If it's not ejecting the tapes, it's not a fully functioning unit. So I take it up to the self-checkout, and they don't have the little handheld scanner, and I'm not able to get the VCR up to the one on the actual scanner. And I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, this isn't scanning. Can you help me? So she comes over, she looks at it and says, oh, that's not the right price, sir. That's not the right price. I'm like, once again. So I was like, okay, well, what is the price? So it had a $4.99 sticker on there. She knew it wasn't working because I told her, I said, there's a tape inside it. So she goes and gets her DM or doc associate out, makes a tag, $29.99 on a broken VCR. I said, forget it. And then it was like a week later, I think it was still there. I mean, what is wrong with these people? I mean, it just, they're getting so greedy. And let me get back, that's another point that I want to make with electronics, right? Guys like Caleb, guys like Craigslist Hunter, all these other guys, Froggy, Flibs, Storage Auction Pirate, whoever. When they buy something on Thrifting Treasures, when they buy something and they sell it for a premium on eBay, they test it out. They make sure it works, right? So that they don't get any flack on eBay. So let's just say Thrifting Treasure finds a VCR and he tests it. He's going to put a tape in. He's going to make sure it has a picture. He's going to make sure everything's working before he lists it on eBay for $30. Well, Goodwill doesn't do that. Savers doesn't do that. They don't fully test their product, right? Go back to the Dreamcast here, right? So that Dreamcast that was put out on the floor for $350, right, is not fully tested. Did they put it up to a TV? Did they see if it powered on? Did they see if it read a disc? Did they play the game to see if you were able to actually play a game on there? No, they didn't. But you're going to pay eBay prices or above eBay for that Dreamcast with no return? I mean, it's crazy. There's just no logic behind all of it. So, yeah, I mean, there's no logic behind any of this except that they're getting greedy. Now, going back to Goodwill, they're a non-profit, and one of the, and their mission is to help people with disabilities find work. And one of the things that I've noticed about Goodwill here is they used to have what's called a career center. Basically, it's like a library. It's like a library resource. It's kind of like that. It's like a resource center for people that can come in. They get help with their resumes. They can hop on the computer and fill out job applications. It was basically a resource center to help people find work. What I've noticed is a lot of they've been quietly closing them. I know we used to have one at 19th. I know the one where I used to live is closed. They're shutting them down, folks. These people are getting greedy. And then you hear on the news that, a lot of these employers are being underpaid. You've got the CEO of Goodwill making millions of dollars. It's just not right. And they have no justification. There's inflation. I get that. Costs have gone up. Wages have gone up. I could understand, right? If you're pricing games out $3, right? I could see it going up to $4. A small increase. But no, what Goodwill is doing is they're taking the game, putting it at retail or above retail, which is like 100 times more than what it's worth. What they were selling it for back in the day. Like I said, they had that NBA Live. Like this same Dreamcast, right? So I bought this Dreamcast 2 years ago for, I think it was like $17 or $18. A year after that, I saw one. It had the box. They were asking $100 for it. That's a huge difference in price. And then I see the one at Savers for $350. So it's not a small bump. They don't have standard pricing. It's now let's look it up. Let's put it online. Let's try to make as much money as we can. They're not acting like a thrift store anymore, and they're definitely shifting away. And you're seeing these things in the actual store with the removal of the bins, removal of the jewelry cases. No more 50% off sales. No more discount day. Discount days have been cut in half. Like, okay, $1, $2 days. It's gotten worse. And so you're seeing now you're not seeing anything in the thrift stores anymore. Well, why is that? And it ultimately hurts Goodwill. People see what they're doing. They're disgusted that these are there's a non-profit, and the CEO's making millions, and they're raising prices, and people aren't getting paid what they should. So and resellers are seeing this, and collectors are seeing this. People are putting their stuff online. I'm not donating to them. Why am I going to donate to them? They're not doing what they say they are in their mission statement. No, the CEO's getting paid. So why am I going to donate stuff to them? So that's another thing. Like, donations are down. They're not getting the stuff that they used to. I mean, I think there was something in the news about Goodwill being more selective in what they take in. It's because people don't want to donate to a company that says they're a non-profit, and they're actually profiting. The CEOs are profiting. So you're not seeing that. So there's been shifts. They're not getting... And then shipments. They're diverting shipments. They're not getting shipments from out of state. They're not going to people's houses and picking up stuff. So now they're just relying on those local donations. So they're not getting the product that they do. And then when they do get it, they put it online. I'm like, I was at the one at Thunderbird, and somebody was giving one of the employees shit because he put an N64 out on the floor. Big fucking deal. So somebody got an N64 for a good price. And that's why they don't like putting this stuff out. Because if they put it out on the floor, they have to put a lower price on it versus what they're going to put on their auction site. So it's gotten bad. And why is that? Well, like I said, the resellers say it's not all the resellers' fault, and that's true, but it's also not true because, the internet's been around for 20 years now. eBay's been around for 20 years. This has all happened within the last few years, and it is resellers' fault. You got guys like Paul, you got guys like Tendo, Leonhardt, all these guys making a big hype. So you got more collectors out there. Now you got all the followers. All the guys want to be like Retro Rick. They want to build their, you got more people collecting now. So that also diverts what thrift stores have. There's less available merchandise because there's more demand. And that demand has been driven up because of resellers like Tendo, Rick, all these guys, and they make videos and they teach people how to do things. So that's another thing. And you've got the increase in technology, right? I don't have to be an expert in vinyl record. My cell phone can do that for me. So there's so many components to it, but the reason that Goodwill is and all these other guys are getting greedy is, hey, we want to be in this business. We can't let guys like Rick or Tendo make, we're losing money to these guys. I'm losing money. The CEO of Goodwill is like, we're losing money to guys like Rick. They're watching his videos. They're watching Caleb's videos. All these reasons, even pawn shops are watching these videos. And they're saying, why are we giving shit away? And guys like Caleb are sitting here flexing their muscles about how much money they're making. So that's why, Goodwill, the execs there are saying, hey, we need to get on board with this. We need to raise our prices. We need to get into the eBay game. And so that's why you see the expansion of Shop Goodwill and Savers putting their stuff online and all the price hikes is because they're trying to get into the game like Caleb and Craigslist, all these guys that are selling stuff on eBay. They want to get into it. So, like I said, it's just gotten really bad over time, and Goodwill's not doing a good job. Oh yeah, will put a $50 price tag on something that's worth 20 or savers like the Charmeleon card. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. You know, they don't do a good job. But in a reality, who does this hurt the most? People like me that just want to get a good deal, want to collect, want to have the hobby, you know, and that's the fun of it, is finding something for a good deal. And, you know, it hurts the people that can't afford things like clothing. They can't afford to go to Target or Macy's or places like that to buy clothing or shoes, so they go to Goodwill. What does Goodwill do? They up their fucking prices on everything. And it's not for inflation, folks. It's because of those dollar signs. They see that people are in the eBay game, and they're like, we got to get into this. And that's why you see it. And you can actually see that Goodwill is doing their YouTube, and you've got characters on there from Orange County, that one guy. Oh, yeah, we're putting up the Star Wars stuff, and here's the Lego department, you know. And they're doing YouTube videos, and guess who they're trying to emulate? Craigslist Hunter, Caleb from Phoenix Resale, Retro Rick, all of these guys, because they want in on it. But in the end, it affects the people that want to buy stuff from their stores for a good deal. It affects the poor and disadvantaged. And it affects themselves because they're not getting the donations that they used to, because people are disgusted. And with that being said, I hope my video helps get that pushback. Helps with, you know, there's somebody's got to say something about it, because it's getting out of control. And it has gotten so bad. And, you know, somebody has to say something, you know, whether or not it's legal or not, I don't know. We live in a free society, but it's like I said, there's that argument of, okay, Goodwill, you know, places like Fallout, GameStop, they pay for their merchandise. Goodwill gets it for free. And then they get the tax breaks and the tax advantages. But yet they're the ones rolling in the money, and the CEOs, you know. So it unfortunately, it's a mess. And it's sad, you know. My personal belief is, you know, everybody should be able to, you know, do what they want to do, what makes them happy. And it seems like it's just people are getting greedy, you know. Things are becoming, they're just like becoming assets, right? Video games are assets now, rather than, you know, the nostalgia, the collectability. Oh, I'm buying Pokemon cards because it's an investment, versus I'm buying Pokemon cards because, oh, I remember that Charizard that I had when I was a kid, or Venusaur was my favorite Pokemon, or, oh, I remember, you know, playing with these toys when I was in elementary school. You know, now it's becoming, oh, it's an asset. You know, it's just gotten that bad. And I hope that this video provides some input about what's going on. I really want to expose Goodwill and all these other thrift stores for what they're really doing, because it's wrong. And they're making money, they're being greedy, and they shouldn't be. And it's a huge part of what's going on. But hopefully that helps. I want to get the word out. And, you know, maybe something will be done. I don't know. I doubt it. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.